Go. African cultural response to slavery and oppression in the Americas and the Caribbean began on the shores of West Africa when captured Africans tried to take African soil into their mouths and sometimes in their hands onto the slave ship. Slavery was a war against African culture, especially against the structure of the African family. Those are the words of the Honorable John Henrik Clarke and Asa Hilliard's powerful piece, African Power. Our medicine and our healing is in our culture, African culture. And to it we must return if we want African black life. Indeed, we pour libation to cleanse us and connect us to our culture, to preserve and serve Ma'at. For we Africans are one lest we forget. Libation is a custom where liquid, usually water, is poured as it represents the essence of life onto a living plant at a shrine on the ground. Indeed, in many ways, as the names of historical and familial ancestors and forces are called, the purpose is to connect the continual chain of our existence, the unborn of the spirit world, the youth, the adults, the elders, the ancestors, the loa, the forces, the cosmic forces, such that the entire community, the village, the circle of life is present. And therefore, their wisdom, their strength, and their power is summoned as we move north, south, eastward to populate the globe and even westward as a result of the great Ma'afa. Libation traveled with us. African culture traveled. Our spiritual and belief systems traveled. Our drum and dance and songs and steps, they traveled with us. And yes, our Orisha, our Abason, our Lucy, Netzer, Loa, the ancestral and spiritual wisdom traveled and are here with us and for us now when we choose to remember again that our medicine and our healing is in our culture. And that is why libation is essential, for we lose when we cease to remember, when we throw away our ancestors with the bath water. Our babies, indeed, our future suffers. There is and can be no Sankofa without honoring our past as the basis for the future we seek. So honor our ancestors, honor our history, honor our way, lest we die. For in the words of Virago Joop, just as our ears were deaf to their cries, to their wild appeals, they have left on the earth their cries for us blind, deaf, and unworthy children who see nothing of what they have made in the air, on the water, where they have traced their signs. And since we did not understand our dead, since we have never listened to their cries, if and when we weep gently, gently, if and when we cry roughly of our torments, what heart will listen to our clamoring, what ear to our sobbing hearts? So we pour and we speak libation as an act of remembrance, respect, recognition, reverence, renewal, return, Reawakening and restoration. Indeed, it's acts of retribution and revolution, for we live in a society and we live at a time when forgetting is the wish and denying the relevance, the power, the mattering of African and black humanity is the norm. Sadly, even for far too many of us. So we pour and we speak libation as our own personal and collective quest for our own self-reparation, because repairing the African spirit starts with the pouring, the speaking, the living of libation. That is its purpose. We are instructed by our ancient ancestors in the book of Ani to pour libation for our fathers and mothers who rest in the valley of the dead. We must not forget to do this even when we have been torn away from home, for as we do for our parents or not, our children will do also for us or not. We pour and we speak libation for the indomitable fighting spirit we seek to resurrect, that we may continue our pursuit of black life, that is liberation, independence, freedom, empowerment. We dare call it justice for our ancestors and our children's future. And we pour and we speak libation in honor of those ancestors who left us a legacy worthy of honor. We pour and we speak for those who have contributed to our lives in ways we know and appreciate, and in the countless ways we have yet to understand, and in many ways we may never even know. We pour and we speak for the mother father of civilization, the nation builders, the concept creators, the freedom fighters, the warriors, the educators, those who escaped and those who stayed, those who fought and those who hid, those that roared and those that cried, those who held it down so that we may be lifted up, those who held us together so we could stand on our own. We pour and we speak for those whose struggles lay the foundation for the world's greatest diaspora, which will be great once again when we remember to love ourselves. We pour and we speak for those who have poured into us, filling us with the instincts, the insight, the intuition, the intelligence, the instruction that guide us forward, and that we will pass on to the beautiful ones not yet born. And we pour, we speak, and we live for the beautiful children not yet born, hoping that our living, our contribution to their future will one day be worthy of remembrance, respect, recognition, and reverence. And since we have your ear and we have your presence, we ask for African power, power to heal, overcome, become whole and exemplary and sovereign. Once again, Ashe, Aluta Continua, Uhuru Sasa, Black Power, Ubuntu, I am we, and we are one. So let the healing begin. Let our healing continue. Greetings, good evening, and welcome to Groundings, Evolutions, and Elevations with Brother Shamari. I am Brother Shamari, and this is the second act of Groundings. We come at you every Friday from 1 to 4 p.m. and then again on Sundays from 6 to 8 p.m. right here at WURD Radio, 96.1 FM, 900 AM on your radio dial. We're experiencing some technical difficulties that hopefully will work out and get Pop broke something in the mix. Kind of feel kind of out of sorts. I got to start off with the story, so we got to get Pop connected in the right foot. So hopefully he and Jordan can work that out. And, you know, we'll keep it moving forward until that time. So Pop might have to join us in a later segment or at a later time, but hopefully he'll be here shortly. We recently switched Zoom links, so hopefully he's trying to get in on the correct Zoom link. Hoping he hears me and uses the new one that we used last week, because the ones before that were different. So hopefully, like I said, Pop, you know, these senior citizens these days, it takes them a little time to get acclimated to this technology. So Pop, hopefully will be joining us. But 6:20, Brother Wasset, Spirit of the Drum. We always get a check-in from that. I was out there today. It's funny, man. Sometimes people check in with me depending on how they think I look on the Zoom broadcast. So I'm letting you know, all y'all who care about my fro and my look and saying I look tired or I look good or I'm smiling or I'm not smiling,
We were out doing Spirit of the Drum, got caught in the rain, didn't get a chance to come in and, regroup from that. So I got a little rain face and rain hair and rain coloring going on. It's all good. It's going to work out. I don't know why my color just changed on the screen, but it's all good. So yeah, I know people be calling me sometimes. I'm out looking ashy and dusty or sleepy or, upbeat or low beat. It's just funny. I love the fact. I don't know that I really have an audience sometimes because I don't get a lot of likes and sometimes I don't get a lot of comments. Sometimes people call, sometimes people don't call. But one of the ways I do know that people are watching and listening is the feedback that I get from people. With your feedback, why don't y'all throw some likes up on the board a couple times? Make some phone calls to the show. Let people know that there is actually an audience out there. Because sometimes I don't even know that until I see y'all on the street and y'all make comments about, how I'm looking or how I'm sounding or things of that nature. So help a brother out. Show some village love. Hit that like button a couple times. Hit the love button if you want to. Throw some comments up on Facebook if you want to go on Facebook. Yeah, share, spread the word. All that social media stuff y'all do. Y'all know how to do it for everybody else. Why don't y'all show a brother some love? So yeah, social media, I think we're forward, FORWURD, or if you just type WURD on Facebook, somehow Word Radio, it'll come up. Go YouTube, I think we're onWURD, ONWURD. Show some support. All y'all out there be telling me how much y'all appreciate what I do and, the voice I have and still holding space for the African Center conversations and all that is good. But there's a particular currency that is attached to this radio platform, y'all. Y'all got to start speaking in the currency. And I'm not asking you for money, but y'all know that the currency around here on the talk radio station is phone calls, likes, comments, viewers, all that kind of stuff. I'm in pretty good standing for the most part, but I need to start promoting and self-promoting a little bit more, something that I hate doing. But I need to start doing it. I got a book coming out. I got a crusade that I'm on. I really want to begin. And like I told you all, next week I'm going to be on the low for a while, going visit some family. And then just really trying to reorient and get myself together in honor of Black August and coming out with the mission that's going to hopefully spur me for the rest of my life, whatever time I got remaining on this side of the earth plane. Just really want to go into it strong and on a crusade. So I figure there's some people in our city that's on a crusade to declare Black life and gun violence a state of emergency. And so I'm on a crusade to declare Kaseti and Ngeta, are the children well? And not just the question of are they well, but the answer to be an emphatic yes, Black children, our children are well. That's my crusade. I call it Kaseti and Ngeta, a Black community crusade for the love and life of Black children. That's going to be my mission. That's going to be my purpose. The Pop Brigade that you hear Reverend Joe talk about, the top walk work with the food, good work with my brother Yomi, partnerships that we're forming and hopefully operating out of several places in West Philly to do some outreach directly to our brothers, particularly our brothers who need to see a way forward. As well as the Spirit of the Drum work and other work that's just going to unfold and unveil itself. We need to engage in the all hands on deck Kaseti and Ngeta campaign. Are the children well and are the elders well? I told you all before, I did a whole show on going out and coming in and the importance of us re-sanctifying the role of our children and our elders in our community. And I think that as a community, we need to do a much, much better job actually engaging a crusade on, regarding making sure that our elders are well taken care of and seen as the sacred beings that they are, and concurrently making sure that our children and the beautiful ones not yet born don't have to, by default, repeat the same pain and trauma that many of us like to talk about. We talk about trauma-informed this and pain and hurt people hurting people, and that may or may not be true. I don't know. I think that sometimes we have some agency and some power and some decisions and some choices we can make about that. But for some reason, we like being the blues people. We like telling these blues lament stories. Okay, but let's also declare that our children don't have to live our blues. And let's figure out what we need to do as a village, as families, as mamas and babas, to make sure that however much we want to embrace the blues and hold on to it and talk about how terrible life is and how hard it is being Black and all that other stuff that many people like to talk about, you know, staying focused on our enslavement and focused on the past and all of that. If that's good for you, I'm not trying to take that away from anyone. That's not my goal. What my goal is that should not be good enough for our children. And at some point, we got to declare that our goal, our focus as this generation is to break the mission, break the cycle, break the chains, if you will, that have bound us, that may have bound our ancestors. See, we forget that our ancestors handed us some victories. And every time we go back and we want to claim the defeat and we want to claim the chains and we want to claim the pain and the trauma, we are literally spitting in the face of the contributions of our ancestors and the spiritual forces and the universe that delivered us victories. Why we are compelled to go back and claim the defeat, it's a psychological, spiritual issue that I don't know the answer to. All I do know is that when we do that, those assumptions, those laments become hardened into facts. And we begin to act in the space of defeat and despair. I talked about Friday. We are choosing fear and despair over faith and hope. And it's because we are denying the victories of our people. And instead of going back and picking up the baton from the place of the victory, we keep going back and I don't know what to even call it. We're picking up the chains. And not only are we picking up the chains, we're placing the chains back on our brains. We're placing the chains back on our minds. We're placing the chains back on our ankles and on our wrists. We're placing the chains on our spirits, on our souls, and on our hearts. And that's not a good thing, y'all. We can call it normal. We can call it hip hop. We can call it the blues. We can call it keeping it real. We can call it whatever name you want to call it. We can call it trauma-informed care, trauma-informed practice. I am here to tell you that that is spiritually, psychologically, politically, culturally backwards. And it's time that we just stop doing that. It's time that we, yes, contextualize properly the terror dome that we're in, but also remember the faith that the dark past has taught us, the hope that the present has brought us. And it brought us that faith and that hope through the blood, sweat, tears, victories, purpose, and power of our ancestors, of the spiritual forces that we have thrown away, of the universe and nature and everything that can conspire to help us be sovereign, to be powerful, to be victorious, to overcome, to create maroon communities, to create nation states out of enslavement, to create a diaspora that is one of the most powerful diasporas the globe has ever seen, if we remember to love ourselves, to be loyal to ourselves, and to bring Black life, liberation, independence, freedom, and empowerment for our children and the beautiful ones not yet born. Let's begin that crusade. Let's course correct and alter our thoughts, our expressions, our emotions, and our actions to be in alignment with a Black love, Black loyalty, Black life crusade for the love and life of Black children and the beautiful ones not yet born. So while they're asking for a state of emergency that will allow a military, police, political apparatus to come in and further destroy and decimate the Black community, I think it's the most asinine request any Black leader could ever make. It shows a blatant disregard for not just past history, but recent history. Every time and every place across this globe that a state emergency has been declared, such that we ask for UN intervention, police intervention, state intervention, Black people die. Black people suffer, Black people lose. Why Black people would ask a people and a society that's dedicated to anti-Blackness to come in and police his children. No. Engage in a crusade where we govern, where we love, where we socialize, where we teach, where we feed, clothe, and shelter our own, where we love ourselves, where we are loyal to ourselves, and where we bring Black lives to ourselves. Use your energy, politicians. Use your energy, leaders and teachers, to declare that crusade, that state of resurgency, instead of the state of emergency that you all are calling for that will decimate Black lives. Again, we need, all of you out there, call these politicians, all of these supposedly liberal, progressive friends of the Black community that y'all always talk about, the Helen Gims and the Kendra Brookses and the Jamie Gaultiers and the whoever else is supporting this request. I can't even remember the names. Call them up, y'all, because I'm telling you, you won't be able to overcome this request. Y'all remember y'all had a Black mayor, his name was Michael Nutter. He ran on stop and frisk. And when he came into office, unleashed the powers that be in the name of stop and frisk. A lot of you out there, you have sons, you have husbands, you have fathers, you have uncles who are incarcerated, mass incarcerated right now because of states of emergency and crime bills and stop and frisk that were declared, requested by Black politicians, enacted by their white allies that have decimated our community for the last 30, 40, 50 years. Why would you ask for another layer of that when we're living, the reason you got what you got right now is because we got what we got then when we asked for a state of emergency. And they used that time to decimate and destroy the presence of the Black father, the Black man, Black youth in our communities. It is, again, utterly asinine for us to make that same request. We know better, I'm hoping. Now it's time for us to do better. Let's chalk this one up to ignorance. I'm going to assume it's an act of ignorance and not an act of treason. But we're going to have to raise our voice. Cassetti and Gavin, are the children well? Are the elders well? Are our people well? The answer right now is no. Our work, our kazi, is to make it so that they are well. Coming up on a commercial break. When we come back, Brother Wasette joins us, giving us an update on the spirit of the drum. And I'm curious as to your thoughts about this state of emergency. And more importantly, or as importantly, what is the future from your perspective for Black youth right now? You know, I've been talking to a lot of young people ages of 18 and 24. And when I talk to them, they really don't see a way forward. I'm wondering what you all are telling them. You know, back in the day, you used to tell us to get ready for jobs and all this kind of stuff. And maybe there was jobs and opportunities out there. What do you tell our young adults right now in their late teens and early 20s about what to prepare for? What are we in a position to deliver them? What is their inheritance? What exactly do you tell them to prepare for as this world is unfolding right in front of us? I'm curious as to your thoughts. What are your thoughts about the state of emergency declaration? Yay or nay? I just want to hear your thoughts about it. You know mine. I put mine out there, so you don't have to agree with me. I'm curious as to hearing your thoughts about why you think something like that would make sense or why you don't think it makes sense. And also, what is the future for our Black youth? Because I don't know what you actually, if we stay on this course that we're on, what are you telling young people actually that's out there for them that they need to prepare for and learn and get ready for? What's the world from their perspective right now? Hit me up at 215-634-8065. Again, 215-634-8065. Toll free, 866-361-0900. And we will talk with you after these messages.
Hey Philly, unless you're planning on enjoying summer vibes in the same sweatpants you wore for the past year, it's time to change things up. That's right, that Philly summer feeling is almost here. The city is ready, and so are all the shops, restaurants, and museums you've been missing. Get vaxxed, get dressed, and get back to all the things you love about Philadelphia. Go to ReadySetPhilly.com today to plan your triumphant return.
Between family dinners, bedtime stories, and study sessions, Pico knows that life never stops moving. So if your energy bills are adding up, Pico has programs available. like new payment options, flexible billing, and financial assistance to help you manage your bills and your budget for the essential energy you and your family need. Learn how Pico can help keep your life moving with payment arrangements. See if you qualify at pico.com/help.
A Night of Passion makes a married doctor question his assumptions about love, lust, and monogamy. In The Marriage Pass, a tale of domestic suspense from Brianna Cole, smart, sexy, and filled with drama. The Marriage Pass explores the boundaries of a relationship by taking the what if of a free pass. One partner's consequence-free night with their greatest temptation to a new level. Pick up your copy of The Marriage Pass by Brianna Cole today, everywhere where books are sold. And for more information, visit BriannaCole.com. That's BriannaCole.com.
For the past 10 years, Comcast has been helping students get ready. We've connected 5 million students from low-income families to low-cost, high-speed internet. We're working with both nonprofit partners and city leaders to create over 1,000 Wi-Fi connected lift zones in community centers nationwide. And now we're committing $1 billion to reach 50 million people with the connectivity, skills, training, and the resources they need to succeed in a digital world. Learn more at comcast.com/education.
Berger Montague is a Philadelphia-based plaintiffs' class action law firm committed to helping Philadelphia's black community. Berger Montague maintains a strong commitment to fostering diversity and equity throughout the legal community and in society in general. In 2020, Berger Montague filed a pro bono case against the IRS when they refused to send COVID-19 stimulus checks to federal benefits recipients with dependent children. Thanks to Berger Montague, people across the United States were able to obtain dependent benefit checks that they desperately needed. Berger Montague supports WURD Radio and Philadelphia's black community. For more information about Berger Montague Law Firm, please call 215-875-3033 or email at info@bm.net.
My mother was always very active and independent, and she was familiar with her neighborhood. But one day, she stopped at the stop sign for much longer than usual. She wasn't even really sure where she was at.
It's important for you to talk to someone about it. I felt so much better after my son told me, Mom, we'll figure it out.
When something feels different, it could be Alzheimer's. Now is the time to talk. Visit alz.org/ourstories to learn more. A message from the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
Groundings with Brother Shamari right now on WURD Radio and WURDRadio.com.
And welcome back to Groundings, Evolutions, Elevations with Brother Shamari on WURD Radio and WURDRadio.com. It's 6:20 or so. I think I'm a little bit behind schedule with my breaks. But we always check in right now with my good brother, Mwalimu Waset. An update on Spirits of the Drum. So, Brother Waset, are you with us?
Yes, indeed, my brother. I am with you. How are you this evening?
I'm good. Yourself? Trying to coordinate a couple things, but I'm good. I can't complain.
I'm good, and I appreciate the commentary. When I listen to you and others, not that many, it's like you're putting out the call, and I appreciate you, despite the fact that there may be people who might not answer the call. The call still has to be put out there anyway, because there are some people who may actually answer that call. So I just appreciate you being one of those strong voices out there.
Yeah, and people are answering the call. I mean, at their own time, definitely on their own. Hopefully it won't be answered too late, but it has to be answered. So we just got to keep doing what we have to do. And sometimes you got to answer your own call, right? So
for sure,
that's part of the journey as well.
That's for sure. Yeah, we had a great day today. We were at West Philly Peace Park, and as I've stated before, there are certain spaces that are just, for lack of a better word, just kind of spiritual. It's just something that illuminates when we're at those spaces, whether it's Malcolm X Park. And so today we had an opportunity to be at West Philly Peace Park. And when you think about what they represent, growing food, helping the community out, their building, their representation of what we all need to be doing. And I just want to put that out there because we all should be supporting those entities, like, whether it's the Spirit of the Drum or whether it's West Philly Peace Park. those brothers and sisters they can use our support and they can use our assistance.
Yeah, just so people will know, that's West Philly Peace Park is associated with the North Philly Peace Park, but it's also associated with an activation. I'll call it an activation that we did last year. And, you know, in many ways, that's where we bring Black life. If you hear a lot of people talk about Black life, it's an activation that we had called the Diasporic Black Nationalist Coalition, where a group of us came together, and instead of people talking about I can't breathe and die-ins and all this craziness, we wanted to counter that energy by talking about, you know, the idea of us bringing Black life and activating spaces, many of the dead spaces in our community. And a lot of our communities are dead, and a lot of our people's souls are dead because we let the spaces in our communities die. And so we wanted to activate and bring to life certain spaces. And so West Philly Peace Park was established as part of that activation of several targeted spaces in the West Philly area that we want to bring to life so that we can bring Black life. And so, you know, it's a movement, and one of its manifestations is at 4929 West Girard Avenue under the leadership of Brother Peely. So if you can go out there and support the young brothers and sisters on the weekends, they're out there definitely on Saturdays and Sundays. I'm sure they're out there at other times, but they definitely do what they call work parties on Sunday mornings at about 11 o'clock a.m. And we'll definitely be able to use the village's help and support.
Yeah. And part of the reason, Brother Shamari, that it's so important that we support our brothers and sisters at both the North Philly and West Philly Peace Park, because too often we hear about what young people are not doing.
Right.
And so when the young people are doing stuff, then we need to be out there in droves, making sure that we support them. So not only is the work successful, and so not only that we continue that work, but that we continue to build on top of that work and make sure that it continues to grow.
Right. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Ashe. So give us an update on the Peace Park today. And again, that's why I like that location, because I have a lot of connection to it. I was part of the activation crew that brought that about, and definitely going to get more supportive in my presence as far as the growing of the food and some other additional stuff that we have going on there, as well as other spots in the West Philadelphia area. So I was doubly excited to be out there today, both part of the Spirit of the Drum, which was activated around the same time as the West Philly Peace Park was last year.
Yeah, and it actually, the energy today for me being there was really electric. I feel the same way. It's something about being on land when you're growing food, you know, and not only were they growing food, but they were actually giving away food today. So, you know, people were coming up and they were taking bags. You know, you got onions and tomatoes and potatoes, and you got collard greens or kale inside of those bags, you know, and I appreciate the fact, you know, that they're providing a community service. And, you know, and so in partnership and in conjunction with that, the Spirit of the Drum decided that that's where we were going to gather today. You know, so the brothers and sisters came out, you know, the rhythm flowing, you know, a lot of joy, jubilee, you know, dancing, the children running around, just having a good time, you know, in their space, you know, safe, feeling free, you know, feeling lighthearted, you know, feeling joyous. And I would argue, Brother Shamari, that unfortunately there are not always that many spaces where Black people can be, where we could just basically let our guard down and be free.
Right.
And to some individuals, that might not seem that serious, but I would contend that it's extremely important that as Black people, that we need to be in spaces where we feel comfortable, where our women feel comfortable, our elders feel comfortable, and that we don't have to always be on a constant guard of our surroundings. And
right.
So that's what the space was like today. You know, again, like I said, the children, Mama Atiola was there, you know, and so she brought us what I call the good spirit food.
Right.
So, brother, when I say that it was a joyous occasion, of course, the rain came, you know, and so we kind of scattered a little bit. gathered because we were afraid of the rain. Many of us gathered because we had our drums with that goat skin, and we know that water and that skin don't mix. So we were trying to preserve the protection and integrity of our drums. You know, but even as it was raining, we just kind of still stayed out there and gathered and socialized. And I mean, it was just it's always a beautiful time at the Spirit of the Drum. You know, and I just value each and every person that comes and brings their energy.
Yeah, when I left, there was still people there, brother. Some people were braving the rain. They was like, "Yo, it stopped raining. Where y'all go? Like, we still here." And they were still out there, so they was holding on, bro, without a doubt.
Yes,
Mama Auntie Elder was still out there soldiering on, delivering food. Mama Kay was still out there. Several people still out there. They was like, "Yo, the rain is gonna pass. Y'all ain't got to rush out." I had to leave for the show. Plus, like you said, drums and water don't mix.
Yeah, but again, it was a beautiful time. And you just never know what you're going to get. And when you have Mama Atiola there, you know, to whom he is like, you know, one of our, you know, icons as an elder, you know, in our community. You have Mama Kay, you know, the same, and she was, you know, giving out massages, you know. I mean, can you imagine, Brother Shamari? I don't know, and maybe I don't get around as much, but I haven't been, I mean, I've seen it, but I haven't been to too many places where you can just listen, just sit down, just relax and get a massage, you know, just to kind of, you know, just get your mental together, just relax, just throw everything off of you. And I just looked over and saw Mama Kate giving out those massages, and I'm like, you know what? That's a beautiful thing.
No, brother, it was, you know, again, we were in a spot where Black people were growing their own food. Like you said, the elder mamas were out there, you know, feeding the village and healing the village. Plus, there were elder babas out there, just you know, protecting the village and bringing that wisdom. We had a nice number of Watoto children out today. Brother trying to play everybody's drum while we were playing the drums. We had them. Then they had the wagon ride going. Children, you know, on the wagon. It was just, it's what it is, man. And like to be able to look around and see all of that dynamic under the red, black, and green flag, people growing their own foods, people connecting, making, you know, all kinds of connections at every level, man. So, you know, it's a lot going on out there at the Spirit of the Drum that's really about African family and African village building, man. It's a very powerful thing. And when the energy is right about it, man, it's one of the most special things that Philadelphia has produced in a long time.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more. And I think that as I kind of read in between the lines and I kind of look on the spiritual level, I think the ancestors are trying to show us in the midst of the violence that we see being perpetrated, that we can have sacred spaces where we don't have to live in fear, where we can basically exert ourselves, you know, where we can be with our elders, we can be with our families, you know. Those spaces can exist, but what we have to do is we have to use and initiate Kuji Chagalia and create those spaces. So when you look at, you know, each time that we're at certain spaces, particularly when we're at, you know, the North Philly or the West Philly Peace Park, you know, wherever we're at, there's always what I would call this strong sense of peace and calm.
Yeah.
You know, so you hear laughter and you hear joy, and people are able to kind of just like, you know, feel free to just communicate with each other. There are no false pretenses. You know, I know that you know how sometimes it is if you're in the environment, even sometimes when you're around your people, if you're not familiar with those environments, you feel as though you have to have your guard up. Mm-hmm. And whether people understand it or not, there's a certain amount of stress and illness that comes along with the fact that when you go into certain spaces, you all automatically have to have your guard up. It's just something that it kind of does.
You come up on a commercial break. I'm gonna also say a little, push it a little bit. Not that those spaces must exist. Like we must create those spaces, and that's a crusade that we have to be on. African sacred spaces, healing spaces, power building spaces, teaching spaces, purpose spaces, those kind of spaces have to replace the dead blocks and the dead houses and the dead neighborhoods that our people are inhabiting right now. I mean, I think that that's a calling to us, and it doesn't require anybody's permission. We can't wait for anybody's permission, anybody's grant, anybody's protocols to tell us or to allow us to do what we are sovereignly and sacredly obligated to do, and that is to raise the vibration in the spaces and places that our children and our people are being raised. We're coming up on a commercial break, my brother. I want you to hold for a minute, because when we come back, I definitely want you to give people the anticipated sites that we have locked down over the next week, 2 weeks, or 3 weeks, however far out we have a schedule. Just kind of read it into the record so people know where the spirit of the drum and where they can catch the spirit of the drum over the next few weeks. Coming up on a commercial break. When we come back, we will continue our conversation with Brother Wasset, Spirit of the Drum. Stay tuned.
What's up, Philly? It's Solomon. With so much uncertainty surrounding the upcoming school year, now is the time to take charge of your child's education and give them the tools to make learning fun and safe. Check out Commonwealth Charter Academy, which can make a difference in your child's life. Commonwealth Charter Academy, or CCA, is a K-12 public cyber charter school with nearly 20 years of experience providing a flexible, stable online education in the comfort of your home. Enroll today at ccaeducate.me. Your child will receive 1. A world-class accredited education streamed directly into your home at no cost to you. 2. A laptop, headphones, assistance with accessing the internet, and learning materials all provided at no cost to you. 3. A safe learning environment with no bullying or security concerns. Join the nearly 2,500 students from Philly who already attend CCA. The school year begins September 8th. Enroll now at ccaeducate.me.
So many times we say to ourselves, I need to make a difference. Well, your chance is here. Center in the Park is holding a virtual volunteer event Friday, August 6, 2021 from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Advocate for those who can't, support those who can, and ensure all long-term care residents live with dignity and respect. Register for this Ombudsman event at info@centerinthepark.org. We all feel better when we do something that matters and when we do something with purpose.
Stand with WURD Radio, the only black-owned talk radio station in Pennsylvania. Did you know you can join the 4WURD movement and amplify voices of the black community as a digital member for as low as $5 per month? Visit membership at wordradio.com or call 215-425-7875. We need you. Show your support. Start or renew your 4WURD membership today.
Are you looking for a job? WURD has got you covered. We just launched a brand new job portal featuring jobs from some of Philadelphia's leading companies and arts organizations. If you go to the portal right now, you will see jobs from WURD Radio, the Kimmel Center, Her Foods, Always Best Care, and more. Apply for a job today. Go to our livelihood website at wordworks.com. That's WURDworks.com and click jobs.
Groundings with Brother Shamari right now on WURD Radio and WURDradio.com.
And welcome back to Groundings, Evolutions, Elevations with Brother Shamari. This is the Sunday edition of that, y'all. We're going to jump to the phone lines real soon. I think I got 2 questions out there for you. What do we tell our children? What do we tell our young adults, really? I want to focus on our young adults, 18, 19, 20, early 20s. You know, I don't know that we've addressed this. It's like we haven't really addressed the fact that the world has literally changed right in front of our people's faces. And many of us are still telling our young people the same old tired things about get a job. Like, what is if we don't change the direction of the world right now, what exactly are we preparing our young people to do? What is out there for them? Please help me know. If we can't create our own Ujima villages, if we can't create our own Maroon communities and our own families and clans and collectives to create our own realities, what exactly are we preparing our young people for? I'm curious as to your answer to that question. Hit me up at 215-634-8065. Toll free 866-361-0900. Also, state of emergency versus state of resurgency. And I want to engage in the resurgence of the village. So I really want to engage in a crusade that counters this state of emergency. And I think that we all need to be hitting the phones and emails, and y'all like doing petitions and Facebook campaigns and all that kind of stuff. What's that called? The color of change and the color of this. You know, I don't know Mayor Kinney's reasons for not supporting the state of emergency, and I really don't care. I just know that I also agree on this issue that the last thing we need to do is ask for some higher power, some other power, some paramilitary power, some other powers that won't have any they don't have any allegiance. They don't have any, we don't have any jurisdiction or power over them. Once you declare a state of emergency, understand your jurisdictional authority is ceded. You don't have any jurisdictional authority over the daggone people you elect and appoint now. Can you imagine how little voice we will have as a people under the declaration of a state of emergency? I'm going to chalk it up to ignorance, not treason or betrayal. But I'm just wondering your thoughts. Are you for or against it? 215-634-8065, toll free 866-361-0900. Before we get to the phone lines, though, Brother Wassett, just let us know, again, upcoming Spirit of the Drum, locations, places, as far out as you know it.
So I'm going to give you the schedule. We had to revamp some things. I had an elder reach out to me, and she said that one of the things on her bucket list was that the Spirit of the Drum come out and gather in her community. And I could not refuse an elder, you know, with such a request.
Right.
So this upcoming Sunday, or actually next Sunday, we are going to be at 43rd or 4299 Parkside Avenue. It's at the intersection of Parkside Avenue and West Memorial Hall. So that is where we're going to be at next Sunday.
And that sounds fun. That's one I wish I could be at. I'll be out of town, but that sounds like it's going to be fun. I can envision right where that is, right in that big park right there off of Parkside Avenue. That's going to be a good time.
Absolutely. So we're definitely looking forward to that. Like I said, I had to shift the schedule around because I wanted to make sure that this elder had an opportunity. She just wanted to bring this type of energy to her community, and so we appreciate that. So that will be August the 1st. The following Sunday, we're going to be at Cliveden Park. We begin a lot of requests to try to move this a little bit further out. So we'll be, I believe that's in Mount Airy, 501 East Johnson Street.
Yeah.
So again, we'll be at Cliveden, and I actually had an opportunity to drive out there just to see the space, and it is a beautiful park. So if you follow me on Facebook or if you follow me on Instagram, you'll be able to get the schedule again. All you have to do is type in Spirit of the Drum on Facebook. It would automatically come up, and you can make a request to join the group. And if you follow me at Nwalimu Wassett, then you can also find out where we're at. And on a side note, too, Brother Shamar, I'll end with this. There are a lot of brothers and sisters who come to the Spirit of the Drum, and they love and get enchanted by the drum, but they don't have a drum. And so I am trying to make opportunities for people who need a drum, you know, so they can also hit me up on those same platforms. So that way, when you come to the Spirit of the Drum, you don't have to come empty-handed. You can come with your own drum and then come and get some.
There you go. Spirit of the Drum, y'all, every Sunday, 1 to at least 4 o'clock p.m., unless Mother Nature says otherwise. You know, find us, get out there, soak it up. Just get in the spirit, y'all. It's a family thing. It's a healing thing. It's a self-determination thing, a Kujijakalea thing. It's a Kasserian and Getter thing. All of the things that we need to bring into being. It's a bring black life thing. All of that you find at the Spirit of the Drum, and you also find at the North Philly and the West Philly Peace Parks. Let's activate these spaces, y'all, because it's going to be the key to our survival as we move forward. So thank you, Brother Wassett, for joining us every Sunday right here on Groundings, Evolutions, and Elevations with Brother Shamari. All right, y'all want to jump to these phone calls, see what y'all got to say, and think about this state of emergency. And also, what do we tell our children? The future is here. You know, we're not crafting it for them. So when they come to you and they say, elder, old head, mama, baba, what you got for us? What is it that we are saying that they need to do to prepare for the future? I'm just curious as to what are we actually telling our 18, 19, 20-year recent high school graduates, maybe recent college graduates. What world is out there for them that we're guiding them towards? Hit us up at 215-634-8065, toll free 866-361-0900. Let's go to Jamila, West Philly. Greetings.
Hey, good brother. How are you?
Good, yourself?
I'm great. Listen, I hear you about state of emergency, and we witnessed what could happen over many years, and we weren't aware. We didn't know. But now I think we're clear. I'm reading a document, Black on Black Crime and Violence, presented by Brother Dr. Farouk Ayman.
Okay.
Okay, and it just, I guess you could say I'm a semi-hoarder, but I hoard good things like that, and I was going through papers trying to call out things, and I found that, and I started reading.
Right.
Because I do need some insight, because in the heart of where I am, and I'm not trying to go nowhere unless the Creator says it's time to go, I'm here for the long haul, and I know this, we must do something. There is no way you could tell me that it's okay in any kind of way for us not to focus on the fact that our children are being maimed.
Yes.
Our children, our babies, like a 1-year-old baby. So something must be done as far as this. Our tax dollars go for federal, state, and local. If not emergency, can we at least get the folks who are supposed to do, like ATF, alcohol, tobacco, lay off the tobacco. I think we got that covered. And worry about the firearms. Trace the firearms. Where are they? Now, our community seems to be strapped. From what I saw in that video over there on Haverford Avenue, it's just appalling. And I don't know what you want to call it. We seem to have problems with semantics. Don't call it this and don't call it that. We need to call each other because this is totally out of order. This is a small segment. Some people want to blame it on the drug dealers. If that be the case, don't we know drug dealers? Can we not call them to the table?
Right.
Who the hell are these people that could shoot in a store from a damn van or some vehicle? We need anger management. We need mental health services. You cannot tell me that that's not out of order and something we need to get back into order. We just need to do that. And
I just think that the we matters. So I'd be curious in this conversation when you say we, because I agree with everything you said. I think that where the challenge is who is the we?
All right, I'm going to tell you who's the we. The we is me. Okay. Because it's unacceptable, and I want to do something because I don't want to be irrational. I want to work with clarity. I want to be cogent, all of that, but I'm saying we, my butt on the line. I'm not talking about you do it and I don't, but we do need folks who are trained, who have expertise. To be honest, social work is not my training, but I'm a people's person. Right. I'm a grandmother. So let me just digress to say, if I went by my personal life, you wouldn't hear a word from me. You wouldn't hear a word from me because my family is winning, thank God.
Right.
So you ask about my family in that range that you mentioned. You know, go-getters.
Right.
Focused on this, that, and the third. What can I tell them? What can they tell me?
So, Mama Jamil, I'm going to ask you to hold on for a second because we come up on a commercial break, but I want to continue the conversation. I actually appreciate, that's the thing about it is like, yo, like if this was personal, when I was minding my own business, I'm good. You know, my family, like yours, we're good. So that's the thing. This is a village issue, and it's people who want to weigh in, not because personally, they have any trauma, all these words that we like to throw out there. It's just it's the thing that we are called to do as a people. Our people need to get our village back in order. And we have to have a strategy that's developed for us, by us. And we get to determine who and how and what fits into that. But once you have an outside entity declare a state of emergency, all of that agency, all of that initiative and power, you've ceded away from ourselves and given it to an adversarial force. Their history has shown that they're adversarial to our causes. And I don't think that that's the wisest thing for us to do at this time. Coming up on the commercial break, if you want to join our conversation, hit us up. 215-634-8065, toll free. 866-361-0900. We'll talk with you after these messages.
Support small, Black, and Brown-owned businesses by joining the Diverse Procurement Collaborative, a community of business leaders committed to supplier diversity. Get engaged at chamberphl.com.
The Mattress Man is a second-generation family-owned mattress specialist business since 1988. Open 7 days a week, located at 7421 Stenton Avenue. The Mattress Man discounts Serta, memory foam, orthopedic, and ComfortTech mattresses every day. You deal directly with the owner, Julian, to ensure you get the best price and best service. The Mattress Man offers same-day delivery on most models to most areas. Ask about the WURD discount. Call 215-424-5550.
Do you have what it tastes to solve Hers flavor mix mystery? One chip, 3 classic Hers flavors, thousands of possible combinations. Pick up a bag of Hers flavor mix mystery and make your guess online today. Your guess could win you $10,000 and a year's supply of Hers. Visit Hers on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter for more info on how to enter. Solve the mystery. Break out the Hers. No purchase necessary. Legal residents of the 50 United States, DC, 18 years of age and older. Ends 8/31/21. To enter and for official rules, including odds and prize descriptions, visit campaign.rtm.com/Hers flavor mix mystery / void where prohibited.
For the past 10 years, Comcast has been helping students get ready. We've connected 5 million students from low-income families to low-cost, high-speed internet. We're working with both nonprofit partners and city leaders to create over 1,000 Wi-Fi connected lift zones in community centers nationwide. And now we're committing $1 billion to reach 50 million people with the connectivity, skills, training, and the resources they need to succeed in a digital world. Learn more at comcast.com/education.
Enterprise Exterminators, located at 4943 Wayne Avenue, has been in business since 1976 and can eliminate whatever pest problems you have. Enterprise specializes in bed bugs, lanternflies, and termites. Call for your free termite inspection today. Do-it-yourself kits are available. Enterprise Exterminators, servicing Philadelphia, Delaware, and New Jersey. Call now, 215-849-7070. Ask us about the WURD and senior discounts.
Want the latest in WURD swag? Check out the shop tab on WURDradio.com. Hoodies, tees, and more in a variety of colors. The shop tab on WURDradio.com. Show the world that you're all about black. Talk Media. This is WURD Radio. 96.1 FM. And 900 AM WURD Philadelphia. Black. Talk Media. Groundings with Brother Shamari. Right now on WURD Radio and WURDradio.com.
That is Redemption Song, the acoustic version. And shout out Jordan, because I think sometimes we get in trouble when the lyrical versions are played. So it might have kept us on Facebook for another segment at least. Because for some reason they be banging me on this music thing. I don't know what's up with it, but it's all good. But there's a song that I just came across. I don't know how I missed this album. It's by Nas and Damian Marley. I forget the name of the album, but there's a song on there called Despair. It's a play on the word despair. And I actually came across it right after I did the show on Friday when I was talking about our choice between fear and despair or faith and hope. And it seems like we have been choosing fear and despair, and it's time for us to choose faith and hope. Instead of a state of emergency, we need to declare a state of resurgency and then bring all of our work in the spirit of Kasedi and gather all the children well, all the elders well, so that we can resurrect the village that we know is necessary to raise our children. So it's clear. We got to do what we got to do. The question is, do we have the will, the where? W-E-R is kind of a con term meaning will, or the willpower of the people. Do we have the where, W-E-R, to bring into being the spirit of Kasedi and gather to become stewards of the village so that we can raise our children, protect our elders, and bring our families, Black families, into the future the way we are supposed to be, not living beneath ourselves. So before we went to commercial break, we were listening to Mama Jamila talk about who the we is, because we definitely got to do something. So Mama Jamila, back to you.
Yes, brother. I want to put myself on the line first because I'm right here in the heart of North Philly, and I love my neighborhood. I was born and raised in North Philly. I came back to North Philly to bring skills and my mind, body, and spirit, so I'm here for the long haul. But in that regard, we need some anger management. This is what I'm seeing in the hood. It's no way anybody could tell me that someone who is shooting randomly around our community should not be contained in a cage somewhere. I don't give a damn what you say about incarceration when it comes to people who don't care about anybody. Something is going on. Now, we have to give them mental health. We have to do what we need to do. We need to ratchet it down. But those who are violating our community, all of us, they are violating all of us. They need to be caught and dealt with. Now, whatever it may be, okay?
That's part of the definition of village, though. And, you know, there's some days, you know, when we talk about it takes a village to raise a child, and we talk about village, everybody thinks that that's some road.
Here you are, sweetie. Here you are. I had it already for you. Excuse me. That's my 18 to 24-year-old. Getting some of my meal. I'm sorry, I'm multitasking. Okay. What I'm saying is this: we know that we need to protect those, which I say are the majority of our people, who are going about their business, having a life, from the people who we have to admit. You call it black on black crime, you call it whatever you want, but there are people among us who are violating the code, the black code. Every code that we have ever written elevated us and uplift us. We're letting the small group of people who are violating the code take over the community. And so maybe you don't want to call an emergency, but we need to call an emergency among ourselves and see who we got ready to do the due diligence. Who's ready to talk to these people who are shooting up our community? We claim we know who they are.
It's beyond a conversation. I thank you for your point. It's beyond a conversation. See, one of the things that we got to understand is when we talk about it takes a village to raise a child, you know, the village thing is not just all nurturance and fuzzy stuff. Y'all need to understand there are villages across our diaspora where people lose limbs and swing from trees and get tire burns around them because they forsake the protocols of the village. See, one of the things we don't want to deal with is what's been taken from us, which is the definition of oppression, is our authority over ourselves. And so because we have given our authority away and we think that other people are supposed to decide for us, are supposed to rule over us, we don't engage in authority maintenance and order maintenance in our families, on our blocks. And we got to return to the fact that we're our first order of authority. We gave that away, because a lot of the stuff that's happening in our spaces is because we are not engaged and we're not embracing and we're not doing the sacred role of authority bringers that we are supposed to do in our village. And that is why people are running roughshod over us, because there's no way you stand by and let mayhem overrule you in the village. The only reason you're doing that is because you have been taught to believe that the police or the military are your sources of authority. Most of us even believe that God, we can't do anything, God will take care of it. That is backwards. It's insane. And we have no authority in the village right now, which is why lunatics are allowed to bring mayhem into the village. And until we become self-authoring again and embrace the fact that you don't cede authority over yourself and over your people to anyone, that is the definition of enslavement and oppression. Until we break the psychological chains and stop waiting for other people to police us, and we gain authority over ourselves, and particularly over the wayward ones. Mugs do what we tolerate them doing. I don't care whether it's a politician that doesn't do anything for the Black community. I don't care whether it's these lunatics who are riding around causing mayhem in the community. Sometimes you got to bring what they call street justice to the game. It's that simple, but I know that many people are scared of that conversation. And so we're going to continue to get what we're getting because we have ceded authority over ourselves, over the protection of our people. We've decided that we're not fit to do that, and we got to let other people do it. I sum it up this way. Somebody told your preachers to tell you to study war no more, and we listened. And that is why we are being destroyed, because the art of authority, protection, self-defense, warfare, we actually think is a sin. And so therefore we are defenseless against all kinds of incursions against our beingness. And until we break those psychological chains, we will continue to suffer. Let's go to Tony and Logan. Greetings.
Hey, what's up? I wanted to ask you, where did you get the idea for the Spirit of the Drum every Sunday?
That was actually Brother Waset's idea. I just support it, but so you would have to ask him where the idea for it came from. And I don't want to.
I wanted to say that if you go down to Washington Square Park every Sunday, freedmen, ex-slaves, there's a plaque that actually says this. But they used to go to Washington Square Park, play the drum on Sundays and gather.
Yeah, definitely.
That was their Sunday thing. So I was thinking that's kind of like where you got it from. I also had something.
Well, Philly is a drum city, so the idea of drumming in Philly is not a new thing. I think that, so it's not just a drum circle, though. The spirit of the drum is also about the intentionality around the family atmosphere, the family reunion, the wholesome food that gets added to it, and the work that also emanates from the drum. Philly has been doing drum circles, 50, 60, 70, 80, 100 years. So it's not just the idea of a drum fellowship. It's the other stuff, the family atmosphere that emanates from it. Well,
that's what it was. That's what it was. That was the only time that they had to gather was that Sunday, and they would start with the drum. Also, the drum is it's actually illegal to play the drum in public in Philadelphia. They don't. It's not something that they enforce, and the reason why it's illegal is because of what it does for the African blood. When it gets to when you get to hitting that djembe, what it does to your heart and what it does to your spirit.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. I mean, I did a segment where I was trying to teach people the slave codes, where it's actually written into law about and that's one of the reasons for the spirit of the drum as well. We don't understand that the drum our speaking in our own languages, our worshiping our own gods, our gathering with more than 2 or 3 was actually prohibited as part of the slave codes in many parts of the United States. So the spirit of the drum or the drum circles that you might mention in Congo Square, you know, like drum circles and has happened, those are actually acts of resistance on behalf of our people as well.
Okay. Another thing I wanted to say, I think we always, especially on the station, we always talk about how education is so important. And I think that's where we have to, we can't ever forget that the war never stops. It's never going to end. And we always have to continue to re-educate ourselves, look back to our ancestors and the literature that they gave us. We have to read it and just see the things that they went through. We have ancestors who taught themselves how to read and write and then wrote books, you know what I mean? So we have to get that literature, and a good way to find that literature is Gutenberg.org. I don't know if you know about that website.
Yeah, I've downloaded some intense stuff from there.
Okay, you gotta share what you downloaded from there. But
that was focusing on the slave catechisms and the plantation manuals, because I don't think that sometimes we just understand how codified the system of enslavement really was, and just the slave training manuals and things that actually exist. That we need to read sometimes, the slave catechisms and things of that nature. We don't understand how orchestrated the system of Black inferiority our ancestors had to go through in order to break these psychological chains. So that's the kind of stuff that I've downloaded.
All right, cool. Appreciate that. Have a great one.
Well, I appreciate your call, Brother Tony. It's funny. I want to do, when I come back, I'm going to focus on the African Fund of Knowledge, because I think that in alignment with what the brother's saying is that we don't really, most of us, I would put it that way, don't really have a fund of knowledge that's African based or Black based, even our own folk knowledge, our own ancestral knowledge. We don't draw from it to make sense of what's in front of us right now and to plot our path forward. So we're relying on other people's versions, the stuff we learn in public schools or stuff we learn in colleges, but we don't really either know about, or we've been turned away from our own African grounded, Black grounded fund of knowledge in order for us to do battle in the reality that we're in. So I appreciate the brother's point. It's something I want to delve into when I come back, really trying to establishing what are some of the funds of knowledge? What are these intellectual, scientific, ancient and modern wisdom resources that need to be a part of our canon? That's what they call it in academia, the canon of knowledge. What needs to be a part of our canon? Our ammunition, if you will, our immune system, if you will, that we are drawing from to make sense of this world. Because in many ways, I think we've abandoned that as our go-to source. Let's go to Joseph in Massachusetts. Greetings. Joseph going once, Joseph going twice. I just got the record that Joseph is gone. So if you want to join our conversation, hit me up at 215-634-8065. Again, that's 215-634-8065. Toll free 866-361-0900. 2 primary questions on the board. Number 1, state of emergency versus the state of resurgency. What are your thoughts about this push for the mayor of the city of Philadelphia, the push by certain elected officials who are deemed in many ways progressive, liberal, democratic, to ask the Democratic mayor to push for a state of emergency to deal with the issue of violence in the city of Philadelphia? I'm wondering your thoughts. And then also, what do we tell our children right now? We got young adults out here, can't really see themselves into the future. All that stuff you tell people about, go get a job, wear a tie, show up, all that world is gone. You can't even apply. Many jobs you're applying for right now, you don't, like, you got to apply through a computer that screens your words. So if you can't write, you don't know what code words to use, it's almost impossible for you to apply for a decent job right now. Like, the rules of the universe are literally changing right before our young people's eyes. And I'm not sure that we have done a great job preparing them for the future that is unfolding, because many of us don't even understand the future that's unfolding. And we need to just admit that and figure out how we course correct and do a reset. So I'm curious as to your thoughts about these things. What do we tell our children who are Black, and your thoughts on the state of emergency? Let's go to Rick, Germany. Greetings.
Good day, Brother Shamari.
How you doing, Rick? I got a personal goal, Brother Rick. One day when I ask you how you doing, you're actually going to say, I'm doing pretty good, Brother Shamari. One day that's actually going to happen.
In the real scheme of things, I am doing very well. I wanted to add to your conversation, the conversation of the sister that called a few calls back. Mm-hmm. The alcohol, tobacco, and firearms, the DEA, the Department of Justice versus the Department of Homeland Security. Any thoughts on how those agencies will affect Black life for the next 20 to 25 years?
Brother Rick, though I would consider that. I'm probably gonna get in trouble on this one, but I'm gonna just say it. We ain't gotta wait for the declaration of the state of emergency to figure out Homeland Security, DEA, ATF, how they're impacting our communities vis-a-vis drugs, crimes, guns, because they're already impacting our community with drugs, crimes, and guns. Trust me, these things ain't traveling through our community and getting in the hands of the people that they're getting in their hands of without complicity by all of those entities. All hands have already been on deck to create the conditions that we are suffering from now. And it's absolutely crazy to ask those hands to eradicate the conditions that they have some complicity in creating. I hope it's very clear how I answered your question.
Thank you.
Thank you for asking. It's something that we need to understand. That's why I'm saying you're asking for a state of emergency to ask the very people who have coordinated the destruction of our community, and they're all complicit in it. You can act like they're not if you want to. I know better. I'm nobody's boo-boo the fool. So it's crazy, right? If you got the level of death, unsolved murders, unsolved crime. Listen, Police 101. I'm gonna let y'all know the secret. Under normal conditions with policing, even if they don't know who killed somebody and they wanted to solve a murder or a crime, they just pin it on people, because you never want to be disgraced where you have unsolved murder rates at the epidemic level in Philadelphia. Go back and look at the number of literally unsolved murders. And when you have a police department that looks like they're not even trying to solve these murders, like you literally have to turn yourself in or, smile at the camera while you're shooting somebody in order to get caught for these murders that are happening. So you got a whole apparatus that has decided. It's almost like they call it planned shrinkage when you're trying to destabilize neighborhoods and engage in gentrification. You have planned, they call it planned obsolescence when you want your car to run out so people have to buy a new car. Well, listen, Black people, this is planned Black genocide. This is planned Black death. All of these departments that have all of these superpowers when they want to kill your children otherwise, when they want to enact law and order otherwise, all of a sudden these very same superpowers are powerless to stop Black death and destruction in your neighborhoods. You could believe that if you choose to. I am just one to say their hands are already on deck to make sure that we destroy ourselves. I'm not one to ask those same hands to get on deck to offer any solutions for how we overcome this. That's just me, Brother Shamari. This summer is the perfect time to come out and come up. If you're looking for a new job, you've got to check out our new livelihood job portal. Some of Philadelphia's top companies want you, our WURD listeners, to apply. We've got jobs in marketing, customer service, tech, and more. Go to the Livelihood Job Portal right now to check out jobs and apply at wordworks.com. That's WURDWORKS.com and click jobs. Yes, y'all, we're in the Terror-Dome. The world is changing right in front of our eyes, and it's time for us to get clear about where we are, who we are, and how we will fare particularly our children, because what's being laid down right now in this apparatus, many of us got 5-10 years to skate by and go into the senior citizens or into the ancestral realm. Our children and our young adults, if we don't change this world right now, are going to inhabit a labyrinth, a maze, a matrix that will be virtually impossible for them to escape from. That is our duty, our commission right now for the love of Black children. Talk to you after these messages.
The holistic colonoscopy, no IV sedation. Your colonoscopy is due. You don't have someone to drive you home. You don't want to drink the PrEP. You don't want to be sedated with the Michael Jackson drug propofol. Does that sound like you? Call Blake Gastroenterology at 215-849-4902. Visit the website www.jsblake.com and make your appointment today. Drive yourself home after the holistic colonoscopy.
What's up, Philly? It's Sincerely Sarita. With so much uncertainty surrounding the upcoming school year, now is the time to take charge of your child's education and give them the tools to make learning fun and safe. Check out Commonwealth Charter Academy, which can make a difference in your child's life. Commonwealth Charter Academy, or CCA, is a K-12 public cyber charter school with nearly 20 years of experience providing a flexible, stable, online education in the comfort of your home. Enroll today at ccaeducate.me. Your child will receive 1, a world-class accredited education streamed directly into your home at no cost to you. 2, a laptop, headphones, assistance with accessing the internet and learning materials, all provided at no cost to you. 3, a safe learning environment with no bullying or security concerns. Join the nearly 2,500 students from Philly who already attend CCA. The school year begins September 8th. Enroll now at ccaeducate.me.
This is not a fad for us. We will not resume our regular programming when things die down. We're not black to help our bottom line or because it's politically correct. We're not joining a fight. This has been our fight, our message, our people. Black lives have always mattered here. We are undeniably, indefatigably, unapologetically, permanently Black Talk Media. WURD.
Wake up and text. Text and eat. Text and meet up with a friend you haven't seen in forever.
Hi.
Oh, hey. Text and complain that they're on their phone the whole time. Text and listen to them complain that you're on your phone the whole time. Text and whatever. But when you get behind the wheel, give your phone to a passenger. Put it in the glove box. Just don't text and drive. Visit StopTextsStopWrecks.org. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Groundings with Brother Shamari right now on WURD Radio and WURDRadio.com.
And welcome back to Groundings, Evolutions, Elevation with Brother Shamari. Next week, I'll be on a little bit of a vacation, y'all. Got to check out some other parts of our nation, the southern part. So, I won't be here, so I'm let y'all know now. That way, people won't be like, what happened to Shamari? Now, hopefully I'll be back the weekend after that. And so that's the plan, y'all. First full weekend in August, I should be back on the set. But next weekend, July 30th through August 1st, I should be traveling. So we'll have someone sitting in or some reruns or whatever the case may be for our normally scheduled Groundings episodes. I'm going to get back to the phone lines, continue our conversation, your thoughts about the state of emergency. 2 things I'm going to throw out there, though, before I get back to the phone lines real quick. Brother said something I saw on Facebook, and it prompted me. Please, if you get a chance, because it's really going to do a lot of teaching when I come back on this, please go back to about 1453, 1492, the doctrines of discovery and the Catholic Church papal bulls regarding slavery, and this idea that any land that was inhabited by people who were not white and were not Christian was theirs for the taking, and you could do to the people what you will. Ever since then, we've been under a state of emergency. And for them, anytime they feel like that authority that they have to take whatever they want to from people who look like us, anytime they feel like that's under threat, they declare states of emergency. They might call them wars. They might call it COINTELPRO or counterinsurgency programs, whatever they want to call it, low intensity warfare. They can call it genocide. They can call it germ warfare. They can call it, it takes all kind of co-optation. It takes all kind of forms. But this is the basic paradigm. In the mid 1400s, and we can talk about the history of that, Spain, Portugal, the Moors, all that kind of stuff. We can do that. But about mid 1400s, declaration, very clear, doctrine of discovery coming out of the Catholic Church, and also accompanied by papal bulls. So I want you to understand this stuff is codified, it's legislated, right? And there have been different forms of that legislation, the slave codes, the black codes, I don't care which, the U.S. Constitution, but it all goes back to this idea, the doctrine of discovery that says, if it's black, if it ain't white, if it ain't Christian, if it ain't Catholic, you can do to them whatever you want to. And whatever military, spiritual, religious, political support you need as white men who are destined to rule the world, manifested in their destiny to rule the world, you can do whatever you want to people who ain't white, who ain't Christian, whose stuff you want to take, whose people you want to take, whose lands you want to take. And any time that you feel that right that you have, that self-proclaimed white power right, is under threat, you can declare a state of emergency that then gives you the power to unleash your Army, Navy, Air Force, Marine, whatever military apparatus, your police officers, your cops, your sheriffs. You can unleash them. Homeland Security, ATF, it does not matter. You can unleash them in the maintenance of order. And order is only white greater than black by any means necessary. State of emergency 101. You can sign up for that if you choose. I choose not. Now, part two. If you want to understand why Philadelphia and Chicago, among other places, are experiencing what they're experiencing, and I did this for you all before about 3-4 years ago, when I used to have brother from Chicago come on air. He since passed away, Philip Jackson. He was the president of the Black Star Line out of Chicago. And I told him, as I'm telling you all, go back, and you can Google this. This is not complicated. There's a major research effort about 10 to 15, maybe 20 years ago in the area of youth violence. That's where the money came from. It came from the National Criminal Justice Institute or something like that. I can't remember. Here are the words. Just Google these. Project for Human Development in Chicago's Neighborhoods. I'll say it again, because you got to do your homework, because you got to catch up, because when I come back, we're going to be zooming through this. Project for Human Development in Chicago's Neighborhoods. The principal investigator was a guy, black man. His name is Dr. Felton Earls. He also had a second in charge is Robert Sampson. Robert Sampson is the one who wrote the book on collective efficacy. One of the things that they found out was that what prevented, because their research was about what neighborhoods in Chicago were able to prevent the onslaught of violence and criminality and what made them special. And their word that they came up with and what they found in their research was this thing called collective efficacy. It's not complicated. Neighborhoods that were cohesive, had a unified front. In other words, neighborhoods that acted like a village were able to buffer themselves against the crime and violence that was impacting other parts of Chicago. Well, guess what, y'all? As I've taught you before, often in policy stuff, these studies are also the playbooks, because they learn what works for black people and then they turn it against black people. That's why you need to understand the Moynihan report, the Kerner Commission report, and all of these other reports, because though they're acting like how you prevent riots or whatever the case may be, what they're showing, what they're researching is, okay, through this now call for national action, we've done the research, they've given us the tapes, and now we also know what works for them, and we also know how to weaponize what works for them such that it works against them. So you will begin to find now that collective efficacy, the idea of the village, the idea of a collective community, has been systematically eroded for the last 20, 25 years in urban areas across America. And those are now in the same areas. Chicago, those same neighborhoods where you learned about collective efficacy as the vibranium of the people that keeps them cohesive and united. Now they've turned that and they've eroded collective efficacy. And now you see alienation as the kryptonite that is ravaging those neighborhoods. They destroyed the village intentionally because their research showed them that the village and the energy of collective efficacy was what Black people were using to avoid being overrun by crime, violence, and drugs. We are in a terror dome. We keep forgetting that. We keep letting our guard down. We keep forgetting that every apparatus, Francis Cress Welsing told you this, education, economics, entertainment, labor, law, politics, religion, sex, and war, all of it conspires against the Black person, the Black man, the Black woman, the Black family, the Black nation, Black progress, Black power, Black purpose. Always, all the time, lest we forget. So if we're going to figure out how to overcome, it has to be for us, by us, and it has to be rebuilding the collective efficacy of the village, because that has always been our vibranium. Let's go to Cliff, Connecticut. Actually, no, I think I'm Zaire in South Philly. Greetings.
Greetings, Brother Shamari. I appreciate the space that you're in and how you are articulating and educating our conscious state, helping us understand that it's more to what we see and think, and it's deliberately done. Now, Philadelphia is being gentrified, and that means to destroy the Black race, the 44% that can have prominent rule in every aspect, but they don't want us to have that. So they've done their work, and they continue to do their work even if it comes to killing our children and turning us against one another. So I just appreciate you, Brother Shamari, and how you're articulating and educating our conscious state so that we can think relevant to ourselves.
I appreciate you for pointing that out, my brother. And you know, again, we underestimate the role that intelligence and intelligence gathering plays in our communities. And oftentimes these things, these commissions, these reports, and there are many of them. I'll do a whole outlay when I talk about fund of knowledge, really for us to understand. But they've been studying us, and they study what works for us. They study what doesn't work for us and the stuff. And then they make sure that the policies that work for us, we don't get. And the policies that don't work for us, you know, they proliferate in our communities. But they spent a lot of money. At the time, the Project for Human Development in Chicago's neighborhoods was the biggest single funded research grant that the Department of Justice had given out, and was solely to figure out what works in these communities that are able to avoid crime, violence, and drugs. And then they spent the next decade after they figure out what works, undoing what works in these very communities. And that's why we have the crises that we have right now. They have been all hands on deck for the destabilization of Black people, Black spaces, and Black communities for a very long time. It's very important for us to catch up. And that's why we're in a space of fear and despair versus faith and hope, because we have not yet understood that by any means necessary, that's their phrase, by the way, we attribute it to Malcolm X, but they're the ones who have said, we're going to maintain white power, white tyranny, white oppression by any means necessary. And we have not yet understood that by any means necessary, the people who want to maintain their 90% control, that 10% who control 90%, they work overtime to figure out how to hold on to that. While we sleeping and partying and celebrating the Olympics and watching Housewives of this and whatever of that, man, we got a lot of work that we need to do. Let's go to Cliff in Connecticut, final caller of the day.
Hey, Brother Shamari, you're still on point, brother. You are the Messiah to the Black people of today. They need to recognize that.
I don't know, man. No, we don't take care of messiahs, brother. We let messiahs get killed. So I don't know.
Well, brother, I tell you what, man. When you're waking us up, that's for damn sure. But let me say this, man. We got 3 white boys: Jeff Bezos, Elon Musk, and Brazen. and their race to colonize the moon. Brother, what does that mean to black people? And I know you have the intellect, man, to pontificate on that. And so
I don't want to pontificate because you know what it doesn't mean anything for us. What it is, though, what it is
I'll hang up, bro. Let's do your response, bro. Listen, and if you don't have time to get into it now, you know, your next, you know, just do it.
Well, I'm going to get into it real quick
Okay,
because a lot of people are talking about it, but I want us to understand it in the context that it is, which is why we need to pay attention to it. It's less about anything. Well, there's some stuff up there, and they've always been fascinated by the moon and colonizing the moon. But what it really is, I want to look at it from a different perspective because there's this thing called hubris. And it's this thing where it's like, I need to show you just how powerful I am and how much of your money I took. And so you literally have these white boys at a time when people need stimulus checks just to eat. Literally, like the economy, the people don't know how they're going to eat right now. And these white boys are going up in space, essentially taunting you and making fun of the fact that they got all your money. They got all the wealth, that the 1% that they're a part of actually have made more money over the last 2 years in the context of this COVID than they've been stacking in the decades before that, right? So they're just spitting literally and laughing in our faces with this moon exploration stuff. They're selling trips to the moon for millions of dollars. And you need stimulus checks to figure out where your next meal is come from. Many of us are lined up in food giveaway lines just to eat while they are going to the moon, while everything around you that you need is jacking up in price. They're literally saying to you, nana, nana, boo, boo, right in front of your faces. That's what that's about. That's flaunting. That's them saying this thing is so sweet for us right now that nobody, black, white, yellow, we are made so much money at these people's expenses and we have them so much under our feet that we could take our time and literally act like we're flying into space right in front of their faces and they can do nothing about them because we have them so confused, so unclear, and so overwhelmed right now that we can just enjoy the hubris of our accumulative dispossession. The wealth we've taken from them and will continue to take from them because they actually want to be like us. We taught them to want to be like us, so they don't even see this as a problem. They don't see us as the enemy, so we can just parade it right in front of everybody's faces. That's the lens that we need to pay attention to this from, because it's that disrespectful what they're doing. It has nothing to do about space exploration. It's literally, let me show you all the new toys that we've accumulated at your expense. And guess what? It ain't a daggone thing you will do or can do about it. I am saying, as long as we continue to believe that, live like that, and we are, they're going to continue to do it. Coming up on the commercial break, when we come back, we'll hear from my good brother Dave, let you all know what's coming up on New World View. Stay tuned.
For the past 10 years, Comcast has been helping students get ready. We've connected 5 million students from low-income families to low-cost, high-speed internet. We're working with both nonprofit partners and city leaders to create over 1,000 Wi-Fi connected lift zones in community centers nationwide. And now we're committing $1 billion to reach 50 million people with the connectivity, skills, training, and the resources they need to succeed in a digital world. Learn more at comcast.com/education.
This Word Wellness vignette is brought to you by Penn Medicine. Word Radio presents the following wellness tip to support our listeners with mindfulness and motivation.
This is Helana, your resident expert health and wellness coach, with tips to help you stay well. Let's talk about bringing laughter into your home. Have you ever looked at someone you didn't know and burst out laughing? Me neither. But I know when the feeling of spontaneous laughter overcomes me, there is no stopping it. A smile truly is worth 1,000 words. And these days, we need more of them. Wouldn't you agree? Did you know smiling can reduce your blood pressure, decrease your stress, and relax the body? In fact, children are known to smile 400 times a day, while the average adult only smiles 14 times per day. It's time we all tapped into our inner child. Bringing laughter back into your home can look like this. Watch a funny movie by yourself or with family. Revisit your favorite comedian's stand-up special, or take a dive down the YouTube rabbit hole of funny clips. Doodle, draw, or play a card game with the children in your life. See the world through their eyes. We sometimes think in order to laugh, we have to do specific things. Yet, we can choose to find the joy all around us every single day. Go ahead and try it today. Stay well with WURD. Happy, healthy living.
Stay well with WURD. Connect with us at WURDradio.com. This WURD Wellness vignette was brought to you by Penn Medicine, committed to improving the health and lives of those in our communities and beyond. Stand with WURD Radio,
the only black-owned talk radio station in Pennsylvania.
Did you know you can join the 4WURD movement and amplify voices of the black community as a digital member for as low as $5 per month? Visit membership at WURDradio.com or call 215-425-7875. We need you. Show your support. Start or renew your 4WURD membership today. Groundings
with Brother Shamari
right now on WURD Radio
and WURDradio.com.
And welcome back. Final segment of Groundings, Evolutions, Elevations with Brother Shamari. Marks the time. I'm be off again next weekend, y'all. So about 2 weeks before you hear my voice again. Hopefully when I come back, stronger, better, faster, all that kind of stuff. More clear, definitely. And ready to go with some work, some effort, some Kuji Jagalia, some Kazi, all those things that we need to be about. I want to go back to this Felton Earls thing so that everybody's clear. Project for Human Development in Chicago's Neighborhoods. Dr. Felton Earls and Dr. Robert Sampson were the principal investigators. They produced a whole lot of research. I summed it up for you. If you want to go deeper into it, feel free. The key term that came out of their research is the role of collective efficacy as a buffer for scientifically, what they were looking at is this word neighborhood anomie. Anomie is something falling apart due to stress. So it can't hold anymore. Order is lost. Anomie is kind of like loss of order. And they were looking at collective efficacy as a buffer against anomie in neighborhoods. So that what keeps neighborhoods together, collective efficacy, prevented neighborhoods from suffering from anomie, which is a destruction of the social fabric of the neighborhood. So now, after they develop that, then you see that this thing, collective efficacy, our inability to work together, our inability to be socially cohesive in neighborhoods, systematically stripped away through policies and intentions, such that now when you have this glut of violence, guns, drugs, youth disenfranchisement, there is no social structure and no collective efficacy through which we can answer our own needs. Which is why now you have people literally standing in line for food, clothing, shelter, soup kitchens, things of that nature. You have young people who are acting from fear and despair. Now, so understand, Dr. Felton Earls is a black dude. The Project for Human Development is couched in very pro-social terms. Go back and do your homework, though, because Dr. Felton Earls was also one of the original principal investigators for something we've talked about here before called the Violence Initiative. Back in 1994, where Dr. Frederick Goodwin, who was at the time the head of the National Institute for Mental Health, wanted to do a research project on violence in black neighborhoods, where he compared black males to rhesus monkeys and wanted to see if there was a genetic predisposition that urban black males had to violence. Dr. Felton Earls was an original, because he's a pediatrician, I believe. I know he's a doctor of some sort. I think he's pediatrics, but I'm not sure. Dr. Felton Earls was part of the PI team for that original research project that got scuttled. And then the money for that project is really what was used to then fund other research projects, among them the Project for Human Development in Chicago's Neighborhood. So I'm trying to get you to understand that a lot of what we're saying right now is not random, it's not incidental. That work around the destabilization of the black community and the destruction of black males and turning black males into a destructive force in our communities has been worked on for a long time. Very simply, why? This country Western European countries since mid-1400s have been operating on the basis of the doctrine of discovery. Do to them whatever you will, as long as it helps you gain or maintain white power. Anytime that there's a threat to white power, we will declare it a state of emergency. We will respond to it by any means necessary. Wars, counterinsurgency, COINTELPRO, counterintelligence. It does not matter. We'll bomb a house. We'll bomb a block. It does not matter. We'll miseducate. We'll put poisons in the food. We'll have them, eating food that decreases their life expectancy because, it's no nutritional value in it. It does not matter by any means necessary. They want to maintain white power, white manifest destiny, the doctrine of discovery. We're just in a 500-year continuation of that battle. And the last thing you want to do is ask the people who are committed to your destruction to declare a state of emergency, because that gives them carte blanche on how they will then choose to deal with you. If it is to be, it is up to we. It must be for us, by us. Can't make it any clearer than that. Brother David Barnes, let people know what they can expect from you on a New World View.
Yes, peace, Brother Shamari. I wanted to touch on your question that you asked about what should we give to our young people. I would say we need to give our young people an opportunity to talk to us, tell us what they want. And then with our wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, we could appropriately tell them or show them how to achieve what it is they want. We just can't leave it at their own demise to see what it is they want. We don't know what they want because times have changed.
Yeah.
Times have changed a lot from when we were coming up. So we have to listen to them, find out what it is that they want, and then we can show them how to do it. Tonight on New World View radio program is our Africa Matters segment featuring Michael A. Griffin, Honorary Consulate General to Namibia. He's here actually in Philadelphia. His son Malik is celebrating his 30th birthday. He's from Atlanta, and his daughter is from Chicago. She's here celebrating also. So it's going to be a family affair tonight on New World View with Michael A. Griffin.
Brother David Barnes comes at you. New World View comes at you 8 o'clock. So don't you go nowhere. Just keep it right here. Go from Groundings, Evolutions, Elevations with Brother Shamari to New World View with David Barnes. Just keep it in the flow, y'all. It's all going to be black. It's all going to be about black power and black empowerment. Again, 3 pillars to our work moving forward. Black love, black loyalty, black life. Life is liberation, independence, freedom, and empowerment. Consider in and gather, y'all. Are the children well? Are the elders well? Is the village well? No, it's not. So what is it that we have to do, and what is it that we must do so that we can answer yes to that question as we move forward? That's the crusade I'm on, not a state of emergency, but a state of African and black village resurgency. Hope you'll join me when the opportunity presents itself. We're going to close out. There's a song, y'all. I don't think we can play it on the air because Jordan said it's not that clean. I love this song. It's called Despair. But it's spelled D-I-S-P-E-A-R. It's by Nas and Damian Marley. And it talks about, instead of operating from despair, how do you use despair? And it's the history of warfare, despair, and the use of warfare to overcome the maladies of oppression that we've been subjected to. If you get a chance, check it out. Can't play it on the air, but I think it's a pretty old song, but it's just new to me, man. That whole album actually is banging. So check it out, Nas and Damian Marley. But because I can't get that, I'm closed out today's episode of Groundings, Evolutions, and Elevations with another one of my favorites by the Marley family. And I want to talk about that, but we got to really understand how Bob Marley created the House of Marley, and really what that family as a house has done for number one, reggae music, for the Rastafarian movement, and how they've supported a lot of our Black liberation, independence, freedom struggles throughout the globe, y'all. I think it's an untold story, a part of that Marley legacy that we got to really delve deep into. But again, the record is called Despair, D-I-S-P-E-A-R. And we're going to play another banger from the Marley family. This is Stephen Marley's The Mission one of my other favorite songs. Talk to you, hopefully, in a couple weeks. Peace.
Manners to one to a dog and discipline is what the world needs.